Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Pisapia. I'm a professor of political science at Wake Forest University, and I will be your academic director this summer for the Summer Immersion Policy and Politics Institute, a program that I helped design and which I really love to teach every summer. And I'm especially looking forward to this summer where we will be working online. I had the opportunity in this last semester at Wake Forest to really get a good handle on how to teach courses online. And it really works quite well, and we'll be able to cover during this institute some of the most important foundational ideals and institutional processes in American politics in a concentrated amount of time in just four days that we'll have together. And now I just want to share with you a little bit about the programming for those 4 days, the academic program, and what we'll be doing in terms of the content of this politics course. On the first day, we'll be looking in depth and talking about and discussing with one another some of the key ideals, the founding ideals of American politics, with a focus on the ideals of equality and freedom, and also the rule of law, as these are specified in some documents which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, the Declaration of Independence, for example, and then also the Bill of Rights. And we'll be talking together, looking carefully at how these ideals are framed and what they mean for us today in American politics. On the next day, on Tuesday, we'll be working together, talking with one another carefully to learn about where each of us is coming from. American politics is really composed of a tremendous diversity of ethnicities, socioeconomic groups, and perhaps most importantly for our discussion on that second day of classes, political, ideological diversity. All of you, I'm sure, have heard about sharp disagreements that sometimes emerge between liberals and conservatives, or perhaps progressives and libertarians, if you're familiar with those concepts. And we'll be looking at the diversity that is present in our own class, and then also thinking about how that same diversity is apparent in American society at a macro level. Then on the third day, we're going to take a turn to really focus on the law. I would imagine many of you who are interested in coming to this program, you're thinking perhaps that you might study in college political science, and perhaps you even imagine someday a career in the law. I think a field that's really an exciting field to work in, and specifically in the field of constitutional law. In my American politics courses, we have plenty of time, during a full semester in college, to look at the federal court systems and to take a look at the kinds of decisions that Supreme Court justices write. And what we'll be doing on the third day of our week together is to look at a really important part of the Constitution that Supreme Court justices are often asked to interpret, which is the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. In our society, unfortunately, sometimes there's a failure of our ideals to deliver on the promise of equality, freedom, and justice for all. And fortunately, we have a court system that allows groups of citizens to try to demand what the Constitution promises to them. And I don't think there's any clearer example of just how exciting constitutional law can be than in this field of 14th Amendment analysis and the idea of equal protection of people under the law. Building off that, on the third day, going into the Thursday of our week-long meeting, I'm going to have all of you get into groups of about 4 or 5 students where you will decide together on a specific public policy field to focus on. Most of you, I imagine many of you might be interested in education policy or foreign policy or immigration policy, or perhaps now, especially in this world we're living in with the pandemic of the coronavirus, with health policy and the types of responses that the government is making, some of which is effective and oftentimes, unfortunately, some of which is ineffective. Certainly that's a part of political debate today. At the end of that third day, one product each of your groups will will make is a little Google slide document where you have thought about a specific public policy problem and then articulated together a policy solution to that problem, having paid careful attention to explaining how your solution might actually work, and most importantly, explaining how you will try to persuade other citizens around you to adopt the policy solution that you're proposing. And then aside from that academic program, you all will have an opportunity to meet with currently sitting public officials. We have interviews arranged, or I should say, we have discussions arranged with school board members and some other political figures who will walk us through, some of the political controversies of the day and how they work together to try to negotiate them. So this is a really exciting week. This is the third summer that I'm teaching this course. I love getting to meet you all, the students that I've met in this class. It's a focused, concentrated week where we will really dig in with some depth into the foundational ideals of American politics, and also some of the more mechanics, the hard nuts and bolts mechanics of how the American political system works. So between now and when we finally get to meet and see one another, my office doors are really just wide open for you. You can reach out to me through email at any time. I'd be happy to get to know you a little bit before you come to the class. When we start in June or July, and I just really look forward to seeing you all. So stay safe for now, take care, and we'll meet in not too long. All right, I'll sign off for now. Take care, and see you in a few weeks. Bye.